Hi everyone, hope you're having a good day. Welcome to another session of Product Management Basics. And in this session, we are going to discuss qualitative and quantitative research for product management. In this session, we'll try and understand what is qualitative data, how do you particularly build an analysis surrounding the qualitative data. We'll also understand what is quantitative data, how is it important, and how the qualitative and the quantitative data sort of complement each other and are necessary for a good, well-researched analysis. And then we'll also understand how are we going to build an analysis based on quantitative data. So this session is a this session is goes further in our data analysis and product management understanding. And yeah, so this is basically the agenda of the session. Before starting the session, a bit of introduction about myself. I'm Atul. I'm a product manager with more than 4 years of work experience. I worked in the domain of BFSI, and I especially look after product development and growth. And my skill sets also include market research. I'm an MBA from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So yeah, let's start with the session now. So what is qualitative data? Qualitative data is often referred to as soft data, which usually forms the base of the hypothesis that you are going to create for your product. So it is usually the product it is usually the data which actually fills the gap between a perspective of the end users and the understanding of the team who is actually creating the product or who is actually coming up with a solution to those needs. This type of data can come from various sources. A few of them are probably say app or Google Play reviews. Press and PR. I mean, someone is probably appreciating about your product in some of their blogs. So that can be quantified, but in the face of it, it is usually qualitative. It can come from survey or and interview questions and customer service feedback. So qualitative data in a sense can be defined as something like probably how you define a coffee. So it can be an opinion of a coffee can be that it is creamy, it reminds you of home, it is less strong. So these are the data which usually don't tell you the exact problem, but in a way it gives you a good sense of it. So probably if you have the response of a coffee tasting coming in as very creamy, so you probably know that the you really need to work on the texture of the coffee. How are you going to do it? Whether it is going to be more creamy, less creamy, number of people that are commenting on it, might you might not have that data, but you essentially have this hypothesis that you need to work on the texture of the coffee. How you prove that hypothesis is usually complemented with a more quantitative set of data, but qualitative set of data, as I said, is more responsible for helping to form customer problem statements. And it also, like I said, captures things that numbers usually can't tell. How do we use the qualitative data to build analysis? So like I said, the qualitative data usually comes from surveys, interviews, focus group discussion, and other sources. Uh, First and foremost, we use the qualitative data to find why is this problem occurring. So like I said, uh, why is my end user not responding to the product offerings that I'm giving? uh, Qualitative data can be used to challenge assumptions. It can be used to build an MVP, the most viable product that is required as per the end users. And the qualitative data can also be used for post-launch feedbacks. So probably you have launched a feature in one of the apps that you're working on. So in terms of feedback, the users can come up with like it is not very intuitive in terms of usage. So you can probably think in that direction, that how can I make the usage more intuitive. So, or probably some of the users can say that it is not too fast, the working or the page loading is not very efficient. So then you look in those directions, you come up with a lot of quantitative data in terms of understanding how the page why the page is loading slowly, what's the issue at the back end. So like I said, qualitative data is essentially used for establishing the hypothesis and for you to sort of think in a direction. It gives you a direction. The support on this qualitative data is usually complemented by more of quantitative data. So yeah, moving on to our next set of data set, that is quantitative data. So what do you do when you essentially come up with a hypothesis? You've not now understood the gap that is there between the needs of the consumers and what you are actually offering. But how do you go on defining that gap, go on building that gap, and go on bridging the problems that come between the goals of your end users and you who is offering the product and its features? So there comes the quantitative data. Now, quantitative data is more reliable and closer to objective truth, and it helps in closing the closed-ended questions like, what is my usage of a particular product? What is my download in the last months? How much is the conversion rate? So these are usually the closed-end questions, which in a way are the cogs of a bigger picture. They help in building the whole objective of solving a problem through these small offerings, which are called matrices. So conversion data, the number of users coming on the page, the session time, etc. These are matrices which help to analyze the problem. So, and say the problem is probably why the usage of my page is not going up. Why is the customer facing, the end user facing a problem in purchasing the good from the main product page? So yeah, these are the analysis that can be done using the quantitative data. This data has a lot of sources today. Uh, in today's world, this data can come as market research data, the A/B test, which is used in a lot of companies in terms of establishing a product proposition, surveys, NPS scores, which tell usually how much the customer is satisfying using your product. So this is the net promoter score, which usually quantifies the feeling of a customer about a particular product. So yeah, so this is more or less what is quantitative data. Uh, as I said, it helps to bridge the gap in a form of more closed, in a form of responding to more closed-ended questions. So yeah. So how do we actually build this analysis with quantitative data? So like I said, this data can be coming from various sources like surveys, polls, experiments, or telephonic interviews. Quantitative data is usually the balancing data with intuition. So you have this hypothesis that you formed with a particular intuition, usually from any kind of market research, any kind of surveys, experiments, or polls. Now, with a sort of analytics, with the help of a lot of different metrics, you sort of proceed towards solving that problem. Now, the first step in solving that problem with this quantitative data is that you sort of identify the North Star metric. What is the core metric that will help towards bringing me that solution, that I bringing me that bringing me that solution to the core offering of my product. So yeah, so first step of this would be the identification of North Star metric. So say probably if you are looking towards increasing the engagement on your particular blog. So if you're not getting the user engagement as you would like, so you establish the North Star metric as say probably the number of users that are coming on your platform and commenting on the blog post. So this is your North Star metric that will short give you if increased, give you this solution to the problem. Now these North Star metrics are complemented with various other metrics. So in this case, this might be the number of users that are hitting on the link, the number of users that are searching for your blog on Google, then the number of users that are coming on your platform, the page views, the sessions, etc. So these are these metrics that will actually complement the North Star metric, and then you will sort of with these improving these metrics, you will complement the structuring of your problem and improvement in the overall solution. Uh, then how does this quantitative data help is that it helps to set up goals and targets. You sort of structuralize the whole problem in sets and goals, and then move towards goal bit by bit, piece by piece. A good example of this would be, say, improvement in the conversion of a particular product. So you set up different goals with the identification of different metrics, achieve those metrics, and then move towards solving that problem in a much organized data. So this is one of the use cases that comes in, and which are solved by having more quantitative data, analyzing it, and then structuralizing your problem and solving that problem with the help of quantitative data. So yeah, that's it for the session today. In today's session, we have understood qualitative and quantitative data. We've tried and delved in how this data sorts of complements each other. What is it? What is the basic need of each kind of data? So, for example, the qualitative data will help you to bridge the gap, and the quantitative data acts as a local maxima in terms of solving the problem. So, yeah, that's it for the session today. For any comments or confusion, you can comment on the video, and we'll surely come back to you. So, yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.